Gonna flip everybody's tokens back over. And we'll start again with the Barbarian, who only has a broadsword, dang it, so he can't really do much except for get out of the way so the dwarf can get in there. So yeah, I guess he'll go 1, 2, 3. That's the Barbarian's turn. Elf, for starters, we're going to deal with that bleed token. Okay, Black Shield, I believe that nothing happens on a Black Shield, right? Yeah, he doesn't lose it or lose a body point. And now he can take his turn. So, I think... Yeah, I guess just a straight-up attack is going to be what's best here. He gets just 2 attack dice, 1 skull, and the orc rolls 2 defense. Does not get a Black Shield, so he is dead. Let's see if he's got any loot on him. He does not have any loot. Got to get a 5 or a 6 for that. And that's the end of the elf's turn. Pretty good. Pretty good. So that brings us over to the dwarf now, who, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can just get in there by normal means and just do a normal attack on this orc here. That's nice. He gets, he does get 3 attack dice. That's nice. What is he using these days? A broadsword, okay. So it's just the elf just has a short sword. That's the problem. Man. Oh, 2 skulls. Very nice. He's going to be hard-pressed to defend against that. He does not. So there he goes. And no loot on him either. Very nice. So that's the end of the dwarf's turn. Oh, I have not been searching for treasure. I need to get on the ball. I need to get on the ball. Searching for treasure, that is like a primary means of funding this whole operation. Although I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to be pretty well funded after this quest is done. More on that when we get to the end. So the wizard is not going to search for treasure. He'll go in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a good spot for him to start getting positioned for the next room. Threat. I've got so much threat here. If I don't spawn a trap soon, Did I roll to see if there was a trap spawn there? A trap thingy, trigger, whatever you call it? Gosh, what did I say I have to roll again? A black shield triggers the most expensive trap. Is that not going to happen frequently enough? I don't know. How many doors are in this quest? Left, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to trigger all those. Let's change it up. Let's say a white shield. A white shield triggers the most expensive trap. Because then at least there's a 50-50 chance of us getting through the monsters that are here, or the traps. I mean, the threat that those traps have given me. Let's try that, because I really would prefer to trigger traps more as a way of creating challenge than to spawn monsters, because I think that we'll get plenty of monster combat, and adding more does tend to bog things down. Okay, so white shields now. So that brings us back to, because Zargon, I got my threat for Zargon, I think. I don't know. Barbarian. Let's see if we can sprint. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's see if we can sprint. Man, he is not the sprinter today. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, elf. 1, 2. He can, I suppose, open up this door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and open up the door. It's stepping into it. I've got to remember stepping into it. Maybe I could put, unless there's something there already, just put a little cube there to remind me to no, hang on. I use the regular colored cubes to mark traps that have been found but not disarmed yet. Oh, that's highly unlikely in this scenario. Anyway, I'll use this blue cube to remind me to check for a trap. So we need open door. we can put this here. Oops, let me move the camera over here. You guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And then this room has 2 orcs in it. There's actually, I think only in my table, the only other monster that's capable of being equivalent to an orc is a scout. So I'm fine having mostly orcs. I think orcs are kind of a staple of fantasy anyway. I mean, of traditional Tolkien D&D inspired fantasy. Okay. So he went, where was he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's go for it. 6, anything but a white shield, and I'm safe. Okay. 7, 8. Wait, 6. I didn't roll. So I have to stop here, don't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. So no trap, but I do have to stop there. And he doesn't have a ranged weapon. Not a good move, Pater. Not a good move. The fact that Zargon gets a threat on each of his turns is what keeps me from, is one of the things that keeps me from doing the more traditional line up your guys around the door and get them perfectly positioned and then open the door and wait for the enemies to come to you, all that kind of stuff. There's things that I've done with the rules that just make that not really possible. One of them is called Reckless Charge, which allows any figure to move through enemy spaces at some risk to themselves because they open themselves up for attacks. So that also helps, you know, that same boring kind of bottlenecking at every next room or door keeps that from happening. So that's the end of the... Oh! Hang on, I didn't roll for his bleed token. Let's see what we got going on here. Skull. I believe that means he loses a body point. Crap. Okay. Well, he's got 2 healing potions. We do need to get back on track healing or searching for treasures. That's one of the main ways I replenish my supply. But that's the end of the elf's turn. Dwarf. Can the dwarf get in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He sure can. So 6 lands him here. And then he can go here and take a shot at that orc with his crossbow. 3 attack dice. 1 skull. And let's see here. The orc gets no black shields, so he's gone. Oh, 25 coins left behind on his person. I don't know. Do we want to say that the orcs are persons? Do we want to say that they're people? Or are they more like animals? You know? Different settings will treat them different ways. I think if they're wearing clothes, they're probably persons, right? I don't think they're just wild creatures. I think you can, in fantasy, have humanoid creatures that are basically just wild animals. They're not intelligent. They don't even have like a language or whatever. Like I think a werewolf would kind of fall in that category. If they're like, well, a creature like a werewolf. Obviously, when they're a human, then they're like a person. But anyway, yeah, if they got clothes, they're people. But the question is, are they evil through and through? I think that's always interesting to explore. Are they kind of like demonic? You know, like the biblical sense of demonic. These are fallen angels. They made their choice. They are irredeemable. You know. And are we comfortable with that in fiction, of having any persons that are, beings that are outside of redemption? I think that, I think demons fall into that category in real life, but I think there's always maybe part of us that wants to believe that any character in a story, even the really bad ones, and it depends on if you're going to sympathize them. If you're going to give them a language, you're going to have them interacting with each other. But it's always interesting to me to see how orcs are treated in a given fantasy setting. Okay, are they going with they just tend to be evil, but they can choose good ultimately? Or are they is it just in their very core of their being, just imprinted on them and there's no going back? kind of a creature, you know. They do this similar thing with vampires. Depending on the lore that you're working with, sometimes vampires will be like full-on evil and absolutely irredeemable. Anyway, I don't know why I got on that rabbit trail, but if you can't handle rabbit trails, you're in the wrong place. It's just inevitable. All right, what just happened? The dwarf killed an orc that may or may not have been a person, but probably was some kind of a person because he has clothes on. Now the wizard is not going in there. I'll just position him here so he can be ready to be useful if called upon. No one calls upon me! Now, Zargon gets a threat, and we go over to the orc's turn, and let's see. 1, 2, 3. I showed you how Flesh Eater works. I think I want to stick to regular attacks for the orc. I like the thematic element of Flesh Eater, but in general, still, just straight up attacks seem to be more effective. Let's see here. Yeah, 3 attack dice, right? Don't they get 3? Pretty sure? Yeah. 2 skulls on the elf, who gets how many defense dice? 3. Alright, so he lost 1. Oh, I see somebody in chat. Let me get to that in a second here. He lost 1. Brings him down to 4. Let's see. Oh, I got the sniffles today. I hope I'm not getting sick. Queen Violet 8. Thanks for jumping in the chat. It says, interesting. Looks, maybe is that an emoji for fun? I don't know. I don't speak emoji, but it's a smiley emoji with stars for eyes. And Francisco also jumped to the chat and says, hi there, Pater. Hope STDF is going well so far. Yeah, especially now that there's confirmation from 2 of you that it is visible. There's always, it's always that fear in my mind that I really am just completely talking to myself here. Especially on days like this when I'm not streaming at a time that's typically good for people. All right. Let me jump back here. Actually, let me move this, my little preview window over here so the chat is not covered up. Okay. Good. So that was the orc that just attacked, right? So now we're done with his turn. We cycle back to the barbarian's turn. Barbarian's got to get in there and mix it up, man. I mean, he's supposed to be my primary guy for this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, where did he start? I don't know, but he'll be enough to be able to go here and then crowd surf to here, as my house rules allow for. I don't know if anybody else does that. I was reading like something on the web page for the new edition of HeroQuest that said that in the rules we have an allowance for this because a number of players do such and such as their house rule. And I think it might have been related to, I can't remember what it was related to, but it was a house rule that I was like, wow, that's a thing? People are like commonly using this as a house rule? It never even occurred to me. Yeah, and then another one, I'm starting to think that most people play this game not being able to search for treasure in corridors. Somewhere I read that and got the impression that that's how most people play, and I'm like, I think you can search in rooms and corridors. I don't know. Anyway, I often don't encourage it because you can get a pit trap that then everybody has to jump over. So that's lousy. But anyway. Craig jumps into the chat and says, you're never alone, Pater. You should know that by now. And hi also. Yes. Thank you, Craig. Okay. So, what just happened? What is happening? I don't know because I can't multitask. The barbarian's in position. He's attacking. 2 skulls. Oh, no, wait. I almost said 2 skulls plus 1. Because I looked at his attack dice, it's 3 plus 1. I don't play this game often enough to remember even my own house rules. No, that just means he gets an extra attack dice. So I forgot to roll the 4th one, and it was a 3rd skull, which means this orc has no hope of defending. He is dead and leaves behind nothing. but I'm very happy to see him go. Good. Yeah, so that's the barbarian's turn. Now poor elf has to roll for this bleed token again. Another skull, another lost body point. This is starting to get serious. He's down to 3 now. He's got 2 healing potions, so there is that. But the elf, I am not going to forget. The elf is going to search for treasure. Let's move the camera over here just a little bit. He's going to move to the middle of the room so that if he triggers a pit, not everybody has to go through it. But let's see what we have. Potion of healing, just what the doctor ordered. In a bundle of rags, you find a small bottle of bluish liquid. You can drink this healing potion at any time, restoring the number of body points equal to a roll of 1 red die, or a 6-sider, in other words. You cannot, however, exceed your starting number of body points. This may only be used once. Do not return this card to the deck. So yeah, I'll give that to the elf. He will almost certainly need it soon, but I will wait, as I always do, until he loses his last body point. That is a house rule that I've been playing with in this game for decades. I'm pretty certain it's not intended, but we do it anyway. I think it was because the text said, at any time. I'm like, at any time? Really? So how about right after I lose my last body point? Then I can take it then? Anyway. So that was the elf. Dwarf. Dwarf is also going to search for treasure. And he can just do that right in the little corner that he's in right there. So let's search. Wandering monster, or it normally would be, except I've got 3 written on the bottom here. And anytime I run into that, that means that I roll on Pater's random treasure table. You can't see it here. This is a wild and fun assortment of things to spice up Pater's game of HeroQuest. And I need a D8 for this. I've got one set aside for that purpose. Let's see what it is. Roll a 2. Low numbers are typically bad on this table. You're making too much noise! Crap. 2 of the listed wandering monster appear. Shuffle all discarded cards back into the treasure deck. So, this is the first one I've discarded, so I'm not going to bother doing that yet. 2. So what is the wandering monster in this? Oh my gosh, it's a Fimmer! Alright. Well, maybe it's not, though. Let's check my table here. Is there equivalent to... I mean, there's definitely an equivalent to a Fimmer. Is there equivalent to 2 Fimmers? I don't think so. Okay, so let's roll and see what we got here. The first one is not a Fimmer. It's a Halberdier. Halberdier. I don't know. Okay, guy with a big pointy stick, basically. So I'm going to use this. This is actually one of the heroes from Descent First Edition. Let me see if we can clear that up a little bit. There we go. Can't remember what this guy's name was, but he seems fairly fitting for this purpose. So I'll put him there. Oh, we know it was the dwarf that searched, huh? So let's get him in by the dwarf if we can. So he'll attack in a second after we figure out what the next thing is. If it's a halberdier, I'm re-rolling. No, it's a... What is it? What's a 5 on my chart? A lava beetle. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've... Well, I think maybe I've run into one of these in this version before. But let's see if we can squeeze him in here. And now let's find the stats for these crazy things. Man, I really am wondering if I'm going to get sick. My oldest woke up sick this morning. The boys had their first week back at school last week. And man, ever since they were in like preschool, like at the beginning of a semester, that's when they go to the petri dish and bring all that crap home. Less as they got older and more hygienic, but still inevitable. Lava beetle. Okay. So the halberdier has an attack of 3, defend of 3, body 2, mind 2, move 6, and reach, which just means he can attack either diagonally and or 2 spaces away. I'm going to say he can do both. So that's his shtick. The Lava Beetle, which I don't think I gave us a good look at this mini. Francisco says, praying over you and your family's health. Thank you, Francisco. Appreciate that. Actually, my son Asher is staying home from school today. But it doesn't sound like his symptoms don't seem like anything, like they don't seem like COVID. That's always the big thing. I wonder how long we're going to be saying that. You know, like when someone's sick, oh, but it's not COVID, it's blah, 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 or whatever. So yeah, this guy, Lava Beetle. Descent First Edition. What do we got for his special abilities? Attack 3, defend 2, body 2, mind 1, move 5, and explosion, which is evidently automatic. So let's see what's going on with explosion. I think this basically just means he attacks like multiple spaces at once somehow. This monster rolls a single attack, against all adjacent heroes. So like an explosive attack radiates out from him. All adjacent heroes who each roll defense separately. Oh my gosh, and he's right in there. Now, in HeroQuest, diagonal is not considered adjacent, so there's at least that going for them. But yeah, he's going to attack both the elf and the barbarian at the same time. All right, well, let's deal with the halberdier's attack first. He's going to attack with 3 attack dice, 2 skulls on the dwarf, who gets 3 defense dice. He blocked one of them, so he takes 1 hit. That brings him down to 6. Still going strong, but this Lava Beetle, my gosh. And he gets 3 attack dice. That's absurd. That seems a little OP. My gosh. 2 skulls. Both the barbarian and the elf are rolling for defense against 2. Barbarian gets 3. He gets 2 shields, thank goodness. Poor elf now, bleeding. Thankfully just got a healing potion. He also gets 3. None. So he is down to 1 body point. He is about to drink that healing potion. And all of that happened during the dwarf's turn, right? Because he searched for treasure. So at long last, the dwarf's turn is over. Elderast, oh man. Elderast is in trouble. I mean, like, I could have, with the rules for Wandering Monsters, you know, it says that the Wandering Monster appears and attacks, but it doesn't specify who it attacks. It does say that you have to place it next to the person who searched. As you are searching, a monster, stalks you and attacks. So the spirit of it, certainly, I guess you could stalk one person and then attack another, but the spirit of the card does seem to be that it attacks the person who searched. We always played this, me and my buddy who played this for decades, we always played it as, you know, Zargon places the Wandering Monster on any square next to you, the monster attacks immediately. We always allowed for the monster to attack someone else if they were able to, even though they had to be placed right next to the person who searched. And so I just kind of always played that way. Let me blow my nose really quick. Try to avoid the amount of gross, throaty sniffing that you have to listen to. Okay, so that was that, right? It's the wizard's turn. Oh yeah, I was just saying here that the wizard, it's lucky that I didn't think to attack him. Because I always am trying to attack the wizard. That's what you gotta do. If the wizard exposes themselves, it's their fault. I mean, hopefully wizards aren't running around exposing themselves in that sense, but... Okay, you walked right into that, Pater. Anyway, he's totally going to attack the wizard if he gets the chance next turn, so Elderast has got to act. He's got to do something. Now, he's got a staff, so he could do a little poke a little diagonal poke, and then if he doesn't take him out, the dwarf surely will. I don't think we need to blow a spell yet. Of course, he could use Seeking Bolt. This is a special ability. All the heroes have one special ability. This is the wizard's. The wizard deals 1 damage to any monster in his line of sight, and then rolls 1 combat die. On anything but a black shield, the wizard loses 1 body point. The monster may not roll defense dice. So this is the representation of the classic D&D spell, something missile, magic missile. I call it Seeking Bolt. I'm not sure why. I don't just call it magic missile, but it takes something from him. So it's an ability basically he has to do a guaranteed 1 point of damage, which is really awesome. But he's got a 5 in 6 chance of also taking a point of damage himself. And so it's not something he wants to just be doing all the time, unless he's got like a stockpile of healing potions. I guess I could consider that as a strategy. Like load the wizard up with healing potions, and then he just Seeking Bolts the crap out of people. He does have 2 already. I'll have to keep that strategy in mind. Anyway. How much does the... You know, the halberdier has 3 defense. That's no joke. And 2 body. I think I will use a spell right now. I'll use Fire of Wrath. See how this does. This spell may be cast on any one monster, blasting it with flames. It will inflict 1 body point of damage unless the monster can immediately roll a 5 or a 6 using 1 red die. So yeah, we'll give that a go. I guess I'll use red, even though they just mean a d6. Oh crap, he rolled a 5. So he was able to dodge that. And now the wizard... Oh crap, the wizard's got to get out of there. I should... Dang it. I forgot that the wizard is the last turn before the monsters. He's got to move. He's got to move. So, should I sprint? Should I try to sprint? How many movement does the halberdier have? He's got a movement of 6. I gotta try. Run, wizard. He is coming for you. 6, 7. I don't think that's gonna work. Dang it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Alright. Shouldn't have done that. You know what? Because he'll just be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to keep him here. He's going to get attacked by the halberdier, but if he stays here, then at least he's less isolated. Alright, so Eldrast is done. Zargon's turn. So you know what the halberdier has to do. Here comes Eldrast. 2 skulls. That's no joke. Wizard only gets 2 defense. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Eldrast, man, he got a good night of sleep, I guess. Can't believe. Whack, whack! With his staff, blocking both of those. On the ball. Okay, that's great news. Halberdier's done. Lava Beetle. It's going to explode. Nasty. Nasty. And he gets 3 attack dice. This is OP, man. Oh, but hold on. Hold on. That doesn't... Okay. You know what? I'm gonna make a house rule on the fly here. Thematically, I mean, it is OP, but this will help make it a little less OP. The ability reads, this monster rolls a single attack against all adjacent heroes who each roll defense separately. I'm crossing out the word heroes and replacing it with the word figures. I think that's actually how it's played in Descent as well. If it's an explosion effect, it affects all figures, not just enemy figures. And so if he's going to do that there, he's going to end up hurting the halberdier as well. So with that in mind, do I want to move the lava beetle? No, I don't. I like to play him thematically, play monsters somewhat thematically, And he is just a wild creature. And he sees 2 enemies. He's not going to think about the halberdier, who is barely his ally anyway, I imagine. 2 skulls against all 3 of those figures. Well, let's start with the barbarian, who rolls 3 defense. Right? 3 defense? Yes. He takes 1 point of damage. Brings him down to 7. And then we'll do the halberdier, who defends with 3 also. 2 skulls incoming. And he gets no black shields, so he's out. Does the lava beetle score any loot for us? He does. 25 coins. So we got a party total of 158 at this point. That's pretty good. Now the elf has to defend. And he only gets 2, right? Pretty sure. No. 2 attack, 3 defend. Thank goodness. Crap. He takes both of them, so that brings him to 0. At this point, he's going to drink his healing potion, which will allow him at least to discard that dumb bleed token. And another one of my house rules is, which I only added after adding all these monsters, because adding all these monsters with all their special abilities, there are a few. I mean, it does make the game more challenging, and so I don't feel a bit guilty about this. But with the healing potion, normally you roll a single d6, and that's how many you get back. And I've never been a fan of that. I mean, I guess thematically you could say, well, some healing potions lose their efficacy because they've been sitting in a dungeon for who knows how long. You know, modern medications have expiration dates. Why not mystical, magical healing potions? So, I mean, I can see that working in the lore, but that's not usually how healing potions work in most games, like in D&D or in video games and stuff. It does a dependable amount of restoration, at least a range of restoration that's going to be useful. Not the entire range of your potential body, which is the case for some of these guys drinking a healing potion. So, we roll 2, we choose 1, I choose 5. So that brings the elf not up to his maximum body, but pretty close. 5 body points. And now we'll just discard that healing potion. Francisco says, have a meeting now, so won't be listening, but we'll keep you up in the background. Okay. Well, I'm sure you're not hearing my response. Hopefully, I will not be a distraction to you. And you enjoy your meeting. For more chat about geek entertainment, answers to your questions, and news from the wider world of Christian geekery, get the Christian Geek Central podcast today on iTunes and other podcast services.